Hey everyone, welcome to the deep dive. Learning English, it can be a lot of fun, especially when we focus on practical everyday stuff.
Exactly. And like you don't need to know a ton of fancy words
Right.
to get by.
Just a few key phrases,
Yeah.
and you'll be surprised at how much you can do. So today,
Uh,
let's imagine
great.
we're at a restaurant,
Yeah.
we're hungry,
Ooh, yeah.
and ready to order some food.
All right. I'm getting hungry already.
Me too. I'm Alex.
And I'm Hella.
And for this deep dive, we'll be using a simple dialogue called At the Restaurant.
Perfect for English beginners.
It is... Okay, so first we'll hear the whole dialogue and then we'll break it down step by step.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so picture this. You're seated at a table,
Got it.
menu in hand,
Mm-hmm.
the aromas of delicious food filling the air,
Oh, yeah.
and you're ready to order. I'll be Emma and Ella. You'll be Tom the waiter.
I'll be the waiter. All right, let's do it.
Okay. I want chicken and rice.
Do you want soup too?
Yes, please. I like hot soup.
What would you like to drink?
Orange juice, please.
Your food will be ready in 10 minutes.
End scene.
Oh, that was fun.
It was fun.
And it sounded good.
It did sound delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's unpack this dialogue
Yeah.
and highlight some key phrases that you can use right away. Ella, what phrases jumped out at you?
Well, the first thing Emma said was, I want chicken and rice.
Okay.
This is the simple but essential phrase.
Right.
For stating your order, you can use I want followed by the name of the food you want.
Okay.
Like, for instance, I want a hamburger or I want a salad.
Exactly. Nice and easy.
Easy peasy.
What else did you notice?
Next, I noticed how Tom the waiter asked, do you want soup too?
Okay.
This is a polite way to suggest an additional item to the order.
Yeah, and I like how Emma responds too.
How does she respond?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So polite, adding please shows good manners.
It really does. It's very important in English-speaking cultures to use please.
It shows respect.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what about when the waiter asks about drinks?
Oh, yes. The classic. What would you like to drink?
Yes.
This is how the waiter asks what beverage you'd like with your meal.
It's a question you can expect at just about every restaurant.
Pretty much.
And finally, we hear Tom tell Emma, your food will be ready in 10 minutes.
Yep. Giving her an idea of how long she'll need to wait.
Right. Which is always helpful.
Always helpful.
Okay, so now let's take a closer look at some of the key words and expressions in this dialogue.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we heard the dialogue. We picked out some important phrases. Now let's look at some key words.
Okay, sounds good. What do you want to start with?
Well, how about soup?
Okay, soup.
Emma says, yes, please. I like hot soup.
Yeah, so soup, it's a classic dish
It is.
that you'll find on many menus. What are some different kinds of soup that we might see?
Well, you have your creamy soups like tomato soup,
Okay.
or mushroom soup.
Mushroom.
Then there's broth-based soups like chicken noodle soup or vegetable soup.
Okay, those are my favorites.
Yeah.
The broth-based soups.
And of course, you can't forget about cold soups like gazpacho. It's a refreshing choice.
Yeah. Gazpacho.
Yeah, especially in warmer weather.
Okay, gazpacho. I'll have to try that sometime.
You should.
Okay. Actually talking about these different soups and drinks,
Yeah.
it's making me thirsty.
Ooh.
Let's move on to the word drink.
Okay. Drink.
From the phrase, what would you like to drink?
Right. So drink refers to any beverage that you might want with your meal.
Okay.
It's a pretty broad term.
It is. It covers a lot of choices.
Yeah.
So what are some other common drinks besides orange juice that we might see on a menu?
Oh, there are so many.
I know, right?
You could order water, always a good choice.
Water is my favorite.
Yeah. Then you have sodas like cola or lemonade.
Okay.
If you're feeling fancy, maybe a cocktail or a glass of wine.
Ooh, fancy.
And then, of course, there's always coffee or tea.
Yeah. So many choices. It's overwhelming.
I know, it's a good thing we're just talking about them,
Yeah,
not actually drinking them.
you'd be here all day. Okay, Ella, let's talk about the word ready.
Okay, ready.
From the phrase, your food will be ready in 10 minutes.
All right, so ready in the situation means that your food has been prepared and is waiting for you.
Okay.
It basically signals the end of the waiting period and then the beginning of your meal.
I like that the beginning of the meal,
Yeah.
10 minutes is a pretty standard wait time, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. That gives you enough time to relax, chat with your friends, and build up an appetite.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the best ways to improve your pronunciation is by listening to native speakers
Yeah.
and how they say the words and then try to imitate them.
Yeah, it's like learning a song by ear.
Exactly.
You hear it enough times, you start to pick up the rhythm and the sounds.
You got it. You can also try breaking down words into syllables and practicing each syllable separately before putting them all together.
That makes sense.
So, for example, the word restaurant can be broken down into 3 syllables.
Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Exactly. Practice each one and then blend them together smoothly. Ooh, that's a good tip,
Yeah,
especially for longer or more complex words.
for sure.
Okay, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's recap what we've learned.
Sounds good. We've covered some essential phrases for ordering food at a restaurant, like, do you want, what would you like to drink?
We've also talked about how important it is to use please to make your requests more polite.
Right.
And we looked at some key vocabulary words like soup, drink, and ready.
And remember, these phrases and vocabulary words are not only helpful for ordering food, but can also be used in other situations as well.
That's right. The beauty of language learning.
It is.
The more you practice, the more connections and patterns you start to see.
Absolutely.
If you're enjoying our deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more language learning tips and tricks.
We are here to help you every step of the way.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into ordering food at a restaurant in English. It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered so much ground.
I know. And you know what's really cool is how empowering it feels to learn even a little bit of a new language.
It really does open up a whole new world of communication.
And ordering food like we've been talking about.
Yeah,
It's such a practical skill. That's something you're going to do no matter where you travel.
pretty much.
So being able to do it in English will just make your trip so much smoother.
Exactly. It takes away a lot of the stress.
Exactly.
And you can just walk and order what you want, have a conversation with the waiter.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
It is.
Okay, Ella, so before we wrap up,
Okay.
what are the essential phrases our listeners should remember when ordering food in English?
Okay, so let's recap those must-know phrases.
Okay.
First, we have I want. This
Oh.
is your go-to for telling the server what you'd like to order.
Simple?
You just say, I want, followed by the name of the food you want. I want a pizza. I want a salad.
Easy.
Super easy.
What's next?
Okay, then we have, do you want?
Do you want?
This is a polite way to suggest an additional item to the order. And remember to respond politely with either yes, please, or no, thank you.
Yes, please, or no, thank you.
Exactly. Those little words make a big difference.
They do okay. And what about drinks?
Ah, yes, drinks.
When the server asks, what would you like to drink?
You'll be ready with your beverage of choice.
So many choices.
So many choices, right?
Water, juice, soda, coffee, tea.
If you're feeling adventurous, you could always say, what do you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, see what the server suggests.
Yeah, you might discover something new.
Exactly. All right, and one last essential phrase is, your food will be ready in, and then the estimated wait time.
Okay, so you know how long to wait.
Exact.
Wow, it's amazing how much we've covered
I know it's a lot.
in just a short amount of time.
It is,
Right.
but, with a little bit of focus and guidance, you can learn a lot.
It's true, and that's what the deep dive is all about, taking these seemingly complex topics and breaking them down into manageable pieces.
And remember, the key to language learning is practice. The more you use these phrases, the more comfortable you'll become.
So here's a challenge for everyone listening.
Okay, a challenge. I like it.
Next time you're at a restaurant, even if it's just a local spot,
Mm,
try ordering your food in English.
you got it.
Even if you're just practicing in your head, it's a great way to reinforce what you've learned.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe you'll even inspire someone else to start learning too.
I love that. Well, Ella, thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine, Alex. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep exploring the world through the power of language.
Until next time, happy language learning.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive for all of you learning English.
Hi there.
Today, we're going to be talking about how to find your gate at the airport,
Okay.
which I think we all know can be a little stressful even for native English speakers sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be using a dialogue today
Okay.
to break down all the phrases you need to know to get from check-in to your gate.
Sounds good.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Excuse me. I can't find gate B12.
I'm going there too.
Oh, thank goodness.
We need to go upstairs.
Is it far from here?
No, it's about 5 minutes away.
Thank you. Can we take the elevator?
Yes, the elevator's over there.
So, I don't know about you, but I felt like I was actually at the airport
Yeah,
hearing that dialogue.
for sure.
So let's break down some of those really helpful phrases.
Okay.
Starting with, excuse me, I can't find.
Right.
This is just so useful, right?
It's polite and it's clear.
You go,
It's a great way to start a conversation when you need help.
absolutely.
You start with, excuse me, to be polite, and then you can clearly explain what you're looking for.
Exactly. And in this case, Ella needed to find gate B12.
Right.
And then Alex's response, I'm going there too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a relief
Yeah.
for Ella right
It's
a
a
bit.
really nice way to help someone because you're saying like, hey, I know where that is and I can help you get there.
Yeah, it just puts you at ease.
Yeah.
And then Ella asks, is it far from here?
Yeah.
Such a good question for the airport,
Mm-hmm.
where, as we all know, sometimes things can be really far.
Yes, especially at a big airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes those gates are miles away.
Yeah, and Alex responds, no, it's about 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
So we see there, he's giving us like a rough estimate of the time.
Exactly.
Not necessarily, 5 minutes on the dot,
Right.
but about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we use those words about or around roughly
Yeah.
to give a general sense of the time.
All right, so now let's talk about some of the key words we heard in that dialogue,
Okay.
starting with gate.
Okay.
So can you explain exactly what a gate is?
Yeah, so a gate is the place where you wait to board your plane.
Oh.
It's like the door to your plane.
Okay.
And each gate has a number, and you'll see it on the screens, and you'll hear it in the airport announcements.
All right, so then we have the word upstairs.
Okay.
So in the dialogue, Alex says, we need to go upstairs. What does that mean?
So in most airports, you have different levels, like floors in a building. And so upstairs just means you need to go to a higher level.
Okay, and last we have the word elevator.
Yeah.
So what is an elevator?
An elevator is that box that takes you up and down between the floors.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll also see the word lift, which means the same thing.
Okay.
So if you have heavy bags or you can't take the stairs, the elevator is your friend.
Yeah, definitely a good word to know.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
Those are some of the
all those words together, I feel like
really essential words for the airport.
they really make you feel more confident, right?
For
When
sure.
you're at the airport.
Yeah, just knowing those simple words can make a big difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go over those really important phrases and words one more time,
Okay.
just to make sure they stick.
Sounds good.
Okay. So first we have that great phrase for asking for help. Excuse me, I can't find.
Right.
And then you'd say whatever you're looking for,
Exactly.
like the gate number.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have that really helpful phrase someone might respond with, I'm going there too.
Yes, a nice way to offer help.
Yeah. And then we have the question that, we always need to ask at the airport, is it far from here?
Yeah.
And then,
And remember, the answer might be an estimate.
yeah,
Using words like about or around.
exactly.
So it's not an exact time.
Right. And then lastly, those key words,
Yeah.
gate, the place where you get on your plane,
Yeah.
stairs to go to a higher level, and
Mhm.
elevator, that helpful machine to take you up and down between floors.
Exactly. And don't forget, lift also means elevator.
Yes, very good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great review.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to move on
Okay, let's do it.
to the next part of our airport journey.
Sounds good. Okay, so now let's imagine you've arrived at the airport.
Okay,
You have your luggage, you have your ticket,
got it.
and you're ready to check in for your flight.
Okay, so what do I do?
First, you need to find the check-in counters for your airline.
Okay.
You might need to look at the signs, or you might even need to ask for help.
So how would I ask for help?
You could say something like, "Excuse me, where are the check-in counters for airline name?"
Easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
So once I found my airline's check-in counter, what happens next?
You'll go up to the counter and greet the agent.
Okay.
You can just say hello
Okay.
and tell them you're checking in for your flight.
So what would I say?
You could say, "Hello, I'm checking in for flight number to destination."
And what about my ticket and passport?
Yes, you'll need to have those ready. The agent will need to see them,
Got it.
and they might also ask you, "Do you have any bags to check?"
Okay, so what do I say if I have like a big suitcase I want to check?
You would say, "Yes, I have one bag to check."
Okay, and what if I have more than one?
You just tell them how many you have.
Okay.
Like, "I have 2 bags to check."
Okay, and what if I just have a small bag that I want to take on the plane with me?
You'd say, "No, I only have a carry-on bag."
Okay, so we've checked in our bags, we have our boarding pass.
Right?
What's the next step in our airport journey?
Now you'll need to go through security. This
Okay.
is where they check your bags and make sure everything is safe.
Okay, so security can be a little bit intimidating
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Especially if you don't know what to expect.
Right.
So what kind of things can we expect at security?
They might ask you to take off your shoes and your belt
Okay.
and put them in a tray.
Okay.
And they might also ask you to take off your jacket or put your laptop in a separate tray. So you might hear them say something like, "Please take off your shoes," or "Please put your jacket in the tray."
Okay.
So it's important to listen carefully to their instructions.
Got it.
And if you don't understand something, it's okay to ask them to repeat it.
So how could I ask them to repeat?
You could say, "Excuse me, could you repeat that, please?"
Okay.
Or you could say, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand."
Perfect.
And they'll be happy to explain it again.
Okay. So we've made it through security.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
Now you're in the departure lounge.
Okay.
This is where you'll find your gate and wait for your flight.
So what if my flight is delayed or
Mhm.
there's a gate change?
Those things can definitely happen.
Yeah.
So it's important to pay attention to the departure screens and listen for any announcements.
Okay, so what are some phrases we might hear in those announcements?
You might hear something like, "Attention passengers for flight number to destination, there's a delay of time." Or you might hear, "Attention passengers for flight number to destination. Your gate has been changed to gate number?"
Okay, so even if I hear those words delay or gate change,
Yeah,
just stay calm and listen to the instructions.
exactly. And if you're still not sure what to do,
Hmm.
you can always ask an airport staff member for help.
Okay, great advice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really starting to feel like I could navigate any airport in the world.
Yeah, me too.
No, this is really helpful.
Okay, so we've checked in, we've gone through security,
Yeah.
we're in the departure lounge,
Mm-hmm.
we're waiting for our flight, but we have some time to kill.
Right.
So, what do people usually do at the airport when they have some time?
Well, a lot of people like to grab a coffee or a snack,
Yeah.
maybe do some shopping.
Yeah, definitely.
But how do you order that coffee in English?
Right.
Or how do you ask where the restrooms are?
Yeah. Those are all really important things
Yeah.
to know.
For sure.
So, let's start with ordering food.
I think that can be a little bit intimidating sometimes
Yeah.
to do in another language.
Can be.
So, how do we order food at the airport in English?
Well, you can start by saying, "Excuse me, I'd like to order."
Okay. And then what?
And then you tell them what you want.
Okay.
So, for example, you could say, "I'd like a coffee and a croissant, please."
Okay. And what if I want something specific like a latte?
You just say, "I'd like a latte, please."
Okay, easy.
Yeah, and if you want a special kind of milk, like almond milk,
Mm-hmm.
you can ask for that too.
So how would I ask?
You can say, "Could I have that with almond milk, please?"
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we've had our coffee and our croissant.
Yeah.
Now I need to find the restroom.
Okay.
So how do I ask where the restroom is?
You can say, "Excuse me, where is the restroom?"
Okay.
Or you could say, "Excuse me, where are the restrooms?"
Okay. And is there a difference between those?
Not really.
Fine.
They both mean the same thing.
Okay.
But sometimes you'll see signs that say restrooms and sometimes restroom.
Okay, great.
So you can use either one.
And then what about if I need to find my gate?
Okay.
But it's, like all the way on the other side of the airport.
Yeah, you might need to ask for directions.
So how would I ask for directions?
You can say, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to gate number?"
Okay, perfect. And what if I want to know if it's far?
You can ask, "Is it far?"
Okay, and if I want to know like how long it will take to walk there?
You can ask, "How long will it take to walk there?"
Okay, great.
And if you're really lost, you can always ask for a map.
Okay, so how would I ask for a map?
You can say, "Excuse me, is there a map I could look at?"
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
From checking in to going through security, finding our gate, ordering food,
Yeah.
asking for directions.
I think we're ready for anything.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel so much more confident about my next trip to the airport.
Me too.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive, all about airport English.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we hope these phrases will help you feel more confident and prepared for your next airport adventure.
Absolutely. And remember, the more you practice, the easier it will get.
So true. All right. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe for more language learning tips and tricks.
Yeah. We'll be back with more deep dives into all sorts of interesting topics.
So stay tuned. Hey everybody, ready to learn English with us today? We're going to do a deep dive into going to the bank.
Ooh.
Could be a little intimidating,
Yeah.
especially in a new country, but we've got you covered.
Exactly.
We're going to unpack some real-world dialogue from a resource called At the Bank.
Love it.
Think of it like your secret weapon for navigating this situation.
You know, even basic interactions like going to the bank can feel a little scary
Yeah,
when you're using a new language.
right.
But mastering these phrases can really help you boost your confidence and independence.
Absolutely. So to set the scene, imagine you're in a bank in an English-speaking country.
Okay.
You need to get some cash.
Right.
And there's a friendly bank teller ready to help you out.
Makes sense.
So in our dialogue, we've got Alex,
Okay.
who needs to get some money,
Uh-huh.
and Ella, the bank teller,
Got it.
who's there to help him.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, so are you ready to jump into the dialogue?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll be Alex,
All right.
and you be Ella.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, Ella.
Hi, Alex. Can I help you?
I want to withdraw money.
How much do you want?
I need $100.
Please show me your ID card.
Here is my ID.
Here is your money. Have a nice day.
See, wasn't that easy?
Super easy.
And the language was so clear and simple.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a grammar expert to handle a trip to the bank.
Not at all.
All right, so let's rewind a little bit and look at some of those key words and phrases
Okay.
that made this conversation so smooth.
Sounds good.
First up, withdraw.
Mm.
That's the magic word for getting your money out of the bank.
Right, like taking it out of your account.
Exactly. Now, here's a little tip. If you ever forget the word withdraw,
Okay.
just try miming taking money out of an ATM.
I love that.
It usually gets a point across.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words, right?
They do. Okay, next, let's talk about the phrase, how much.
Uh-huh.
This is super useful, not just at the bank,
Right.
but in all sorts of situations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Imagine you're at a store and you want to know the price of something.
Okay.
You can just point and say, how much is this?
Exactly.
Or at a coffee shop,
Yeah.
how much is a latte?
Easy.
So handy.
So handy.
So handy. Okay, next on our vocabulary list, ID card.
All right.
This one's important because in a lot of countries, you'll need to show your ID
Uh-huh.
to prove who you are.
It's a security measure.
It is.
Yeah.
So make sure you keep your ID handy when you're heading to the bank.
Definitely.
And finally, let's look at the word need.
Okay.
Remember Alex said, I need $100.
Yeah.
This is how you tell someone that something is necessary,
Right.
not just something you want.
It's a good distinction.
It is. So think about it. You might want a new pair of shoes,
Yeah.
but you need food and water.
Good point.
Right.
Right.
So understanding that difference between need and want can really help you express yourself clearly.
For sure. And it's a really common mistake for English learners to mix those up.
It is.
So it's good to emphasize. All right. We've covered some great vocabulary.
Yeah.
Now let's take a step back and look at the structure of the entire dialogue.
Okay.
What do you notice about it?
Well, it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
It starts with that friendly greeting.
Uh-huh.
Then Alex clearly states his purpose.
Right.
Ella asks a follow-up question to clarify.
To understand what he needs.
Exactly. And then there's the security check with the ID.
Yep.
And finally, Ella provides the money.
That's it.
So it's all very logical and easy to follow.
And that's what makes it so helpful for learners.
Right.
It gives them a clear framework for a typical bank interaction,
I love that.
which they can then apply to other situations as well.
It's like a recipe for success
Exactly.
at the bank.
That's a great way to put it.
So just remember, even if you're new to English, you can handle a trip to the bank
Absolutely.
with confidence.
Hey, you got this.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
All right.
And when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into this topic.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned.
See you soon. Okay, so we've broken down that dialogue.
Yeah.
We've looked at some of the key vocabulary.
Uh-huh.
Now let's talk about why this is so valuable for English learners,
Okay.
especially for beginners.
Especially for beginners, yeah.
This short conversation covers so many fundamental elements of English.
Mm.
We see sentence structure,
Yeah.
verb conjugation, question formation,
Right.
all within a really practical context.
Take a mini English lesson.
Exactly.
Disguised as a trip to the bank.
Exactly. It's not just about memorizing rules from a textbook.
No.
It's about seeing how these grammatical concepts actually work
Uh-huh.
in real life situations.
In real life situations, I love that.
And for beginners, this is so helpful
Yeah.
because it gives them a model
Right.
for how to use these concepts naturally.
Right.
They can see how to string words together
Yeah.
to create meaningful sentences
Uh-huh.
that actually achieve a purpose.
Oh, right.
In this case,
Yeah.
withdrawing money from the bank.
Withdrawing money from the bank. That's a great point.
So let's focus on a few specific phrases
Okay.
that are particularly useful for beginners,
Right.
and we're going to repeat them a few times.
Okay.
Because repetition is key when you're learning a new language.
Repetition is key. Absolutely.
Okay, so first up, I want to.
I want to.
This is a simple but powerful way
Yeah.
to express your desire or your intention.
Right.
So Alex used it to say, I want to withdraw money.
Right. I want to withdraw money.
But you can use it for so many things.
Oh, yeah.
I want to buy coffee.
I want to buy coffee.
I want to go to the park.
Want to go to the park.
I want to learn English.
Want to learn English? Yes.
The possibilities are endless.
It's a magic formula.
It is.
All right. What's next?
Okay, next up, can I help you?
Can I help you?
This is a classic greeting.
Yeah.
You'll hear it everywhere.
Everywhere. Shops, restaurants, hotels, banks all over the place.
So for beginners, this is a phrase they'll hear again and again. And again.
Time.
So mastering it early on is really helpful.
Super helpful. All right. So can I help you?
Got it.
All right. Next one. Please show me your ID card.
Please show me your ID card.
This one shows how to make a polite request,
Oh, yeah.
which is essential in any language.
It is. It's all about those
Manners matter.
manners matter.
And remember, please and thank you.
Yeah.
Super important in English-speaking countries.
Very important.
Okay, so let's practice. Please show me your ID card.
Please show me your ID card.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Okay, back to how much.
How much? Yeah.
We talked about it before.
Yeah.
But it's so useful, it deserves another mention.
I agree. I love that phrase.
You can use it for prices, quantities, all sorts of things.
It's like a Swiss Army knife of phrases.
I love that analogy.
To beginners, right? So imagine you're at the market
Okay.
and you want to buy some apples.
Yeah.
You can ask, how much are the apples?
How much are the apples?
Or you're at a restaurant.
Okay.
You want 2 pizzas.
How much are 2 pizzas?
Exactly. You see, it's
Yeah.
super versatile.
It's so versatile.
Okay, last phrase for today.
All right, bring it on.
I need
All right.
a simple and clear way to express a necessity.
Just like Alex said, I need $100.
Like, exactly.
Short, sweet, to the point.
And again, remember
Yeah.
the difference between need and want.
Yes.
It's subtle,
Uh-huh.
but important for clear communication.
Okay, so we've covered 5 really useful phrases
We have.
for beginners.
Yes.
But how do these phrases connect to the bigger picture
Good question.
of, becoming fluent in English?
Well, learning these phrases
Yeah.
isn't just about surviving a trip to the bank.
Right.
It's about building a foundation
Okay.
for more complex communication.
I love it.
You're building a base
Uh-huh.
upon which you can build more elaborate sentences,
Yeah.
understand more difficult grammar. Right.
Engage in, More nuanced conversations.
More nuanced conversation. It's like building a house.
Exactly.
You need a strong foundation
You need that solid base.
to support everything else.
And these phrases are like the bricks and mortar of that foundation.
Ooh, bricks and mortar. I love it.
So for our listeners out there
Yeah.
who are just starting their English language journey, don't underestimate
Yeah.
the power of these simple
The
phrases.
power of simple phrases.
They may seem small,
Yeah.
but they're incredibly important.
They're stepping stones
Exactly.
to something bigger.
Now, before we move on
Yeah.
to some fascinating cultural insight
Oh, cultural insights. I love it.
related to banking
Yes.
in different English-speaking countries,
Okay.
I want to remind our listeners
Yes.
that liking and subscribing to the podcast
Yes.
is a great way to support us
It is.
and helps us create more content
More content for you
that you love.
that you love. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to explore some of the cultural nuances
Who?
you might encounter when banking
Yeah.
in different English-speaking countries.
I love this part.
So even though those basic vocabulary and phrases we discussed are pretty universal,
Yeah.
there can be subtle differences
Okay.
in etiquette and customs
Right.
depending on where you are.
I'm ready. What kind of differences should we be aware of?
Well, for starters, the level of formality can vary
Okay.
from country to country.
Okay.
In some places like the United States,
Okay.
bank interactions tend to be more casual.
More casual.
You can usually greet the teller with a friendly hi or hello
Yeah.
and use pretty informal language.
So it's more relaxed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like chatting with a friend.
Yeah, but in other countries like the United Kingdom,
Okay.
a more formal approach is often appreciated.
Oh, okay.
So good morning or good afternoon would be more appropriate. And you might want to use slightly more polite language overall.
So it's like the same message,
Yeah,
but just packaged a little differently
exactly.
to fit the cultural norms.
It's all part of the, the richness and diversity of
Yeah.
language and culture.
It is so fascinating.
It is.
What about tipping?
Oh, good question.
Is that customary when dealing with bank tellers?
Generally, no.
Okay.
Tipping isn't expected
Okay.
in bank settings in most English-speaking countries.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about how much to tip.
That's good to know. One less thing to worry about.
Speaking of things that can make banking easier,
Uh-huh.
did you know that in some countries like Canada,
Okay.
it's really common for banks to offer multilingual services?
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So helpful for newcomers
Yeah,
or
wow.
travelers
Right.
who might not be fluent in English yet.
It creates a more welcoming environment, I imagine.
For sure, it can make a world of difference
Yeah?
in feeling comfortable
Comfortable.
and confident handling your finances.
I love that.
Now, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to emphasize one more point,
Okay.
and it's something we've touched on before.
Okay.
Even if you make a mistake
Yeah.
or you stumble over your words,
Uh-huh.
don't get discouraged.
So important.
Everyone makes mistakes,
Everyone makes mistakes.
especially when learning a new language.
Absolutely.
The key is to keep practicing.
Yeah.
Keep learning.
Uh-huh.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask for help.
Most people are really patient
Yeah.
and understanding,
Yeah.
especially when they see you're making an effort.
You're trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So embrace the journey.
I love that.
Have fun with it
Yeah.
and celebrate every little victory along the way.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From essential vocabulary
Yeah.
to cultural nuances to just boosting that confidence.
Boosting that confidence.
Yeah.
feeling good about yourself.
So I hope our listeners feel empowered to walk into a bank and handle their finances.
Absolutely. With confidence. Remember, mastering these everyday interactions
Yes.
is a huge step towards fluency
It is.
and independence.
It is.
You know, who knows? Maybe one day
Yeah.
you'll be helping someone else learn how to bank in English.
That's a great thought.
And it all starts
Yeah.
with these simple phrases
Yeah.
and the courage to practice.
I love it. Well, a big thank you to our expert today
My pleasure.
for sharing all these insights.
Always happy to do it.
And of course, a huge thank you to our listeners
Yes,
for joining us. We appreciate you.
we do.
And don't forget to like, subscribe,
And share.
and share the episode with anyone who might find it helpful.
Until next time,
Keep practicing
stay curious.
and keep exploring.
The wonderful world of language.
See you next time. Learn English in interesting ways.
Right.
And what's more fun than learning how to order your favorite coffee?
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love a good cup of coffee? And today we're gonna break down a simple dialogue that'll help you order like a pro.
It's perfect for beginners too, because we're using this beginner level English dialogue as our source material. So get ready. Imagine you're stepping into a cozy coffee shop.
Ah, I can almost smell the coffee beans already.
Right. Okay, so for this deep dive,
It's the barista.
ready.
Ready? Hi, Alex. I want a hot coffee.
What size do you want?
Small size, please.
Would you like milk?
Yes. With milk, please. That's $3.
Here you are. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
See, wasn't that easy?
Super easy.
Ordering coffee in English can be so simple. Now let's zoom in and really break down some of the key words and phrases from that dialogue.
Yeah, let's take a closer look.
So, the first thing I said as Ella was, I want a hot coffee. Super straightforward, right? But let's think about the word want.
Want is like saying, you desire something, like I want a new phone or I want a vacation.
Exactly. It's all about things you'd like to have.
And in this case, you want coffee.
Yeah. Hot coffee. So hot coffee obviously means the coffee is warm, not cold.
Yeah. You don't want cold coffee. Unless it's iced coffee, of course.
But even if you just say, I want a coffee, most people in a coffee shop will assume you mean hot coffee.
Yeah, it's like the default setting for coffee.
Totally. Okay, so next the barista, Alex, asked, what size do you want? Now, size is all about how big or small something is.
Right, like you have a small coffee cup or a medium one or a large one.
Exactly. And in our dialogue, I went with small size, please. Notice the please at the end.
Oh, yeah, that's super important. Always be polite, especially when you're asking for something. It just makes the whole interaction nicer.
Definitely. Okay, so moving on, Alex then asked, would you like milk?
So in this case, he's asking if you, as the customer, want milk in your coffee.
Yeah. And remember, this question, would you like?
Yeah.
It's not just for coffee. You could use it for, anything.
Yeah, like offering someone a cookie. Would you like a cookie?
Exactly. Or, would you like some water? It's so versatile.
Totally.
And in our dialogue, my response as Ella was, yes. With milk, please. Again, adding that please to keep it polite.
It's a little word, but it goes a long way.
Right. So even if you're just saying yes or no, try to remember to tack on that please, just to make it sound extra friendly.
It just shows you care.
Exactly. Now let's do a quick review of those key words before we move on, just to refresh our memory. What was want all about again?
Want is all about desire, right? Like, I want a coffee means you're craving that caffeine.
Exactly. And what about hot?
Hot means, well, hot, like the opposite of cold, warm and toasty, just like your coffee.
Perfect. And then we had size, which refers to how big or small something is. Like, what size coffee do you want?
And we can't forget milk, that creamy goodness that some people like to add to their coffee.
Yum. Now, these might seem like really basic words, but trust me, they pop up everywhere in English. The more you hear them and use them, the more natural they'll feel.
Exactly. It's all about practice, practice, practice.
And speaking of practice, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to dig even deeper into those key phrases and practice saying them out loud together. So stay tuned for part 2.
It's going to be fun. We'll hope you sound like a true coffee connoisseur in no time. Welcome back. Ready for more?
Yeah, I'm ready to dive into those key phrases we mentioned, the ones you'll actually hear when you're ordering.
Oh, yeah. Those are super important. Knowing the right phrases can, make all the difference.
Totally. Okay, so remember when Alex the barista asked, "What size do you want?" Such a classic question.
You hear it everywhere, not just at coffee shops, but clothing stores, shoe stores.
Oh, totally. When anything comes in like different sizes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, size means how big or small something is. They want to know if you want like a small, medium, or large.
Right. It's all about making sure you get the right amount of whatever you're ordering.
Exactly. So when they ask, "What size do you want?"
Yeah.
you can just keep it simple. Like small, please, or medium, please.
Yeah. Super easy. Okay, so want to practice that phrase together. Just repeat after me. What size do you want?
What size do you want?
Perfect. Okay, now you be the customer.
Okay, so you're like behind the counter, ready to take my order.
Yep, I'm Alex the barista. What'll it be? What size do you want?
Medium, please.
Great. See? You're a natural. Okay, let's try another one. Remember, would you like milk?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's so useful.
We can use it for all sorts of things, not just milk.
Right, like, would you like a cookie?
Yeah. Or would you like some sugar?
Would you like a receipt?
See, so many possibilities.
It's a real multitasker, that phrase. Totally. Okay, so breaking it down, would you like, is basically a polite way of asking someone if they want something.
And then you add, whatever you're offering. Would you like milk? Would you like a straw? Like that.
And to answer, you can just say, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." Simple as that.
Yep. Straightforward and polite. So let's practice this one too. Repeat after me. Would you like milk?
Would you like milk?
Awesome. Now I'll ask you, and you give the answer. Would you like milk?
Yes, please.
See? You're getting the hang of it. Remember, even if you get a little tongue-tied, you can always just nod or shake your head.
Yeah. Body language is super helpful.
Yeah.
But the more you practice saying these phrases out loud, the easier it'll get.
Definitely. Confidence comes with practice.
Yeah.
Speaking of practice, get ready for part 3 where we'll cover some final tips for navigating those coffee shop conversations. You'll be ordering like a pro in no time.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our coffee shop adventure today.
Yeah. Hope you're feeling ready to tackle that coffee order in English.
Totally. We've covered so much. We talked about words like want, hot, size, and milk.
Yeah, those are the building blocks.
Right, and then we practiced some key phrases. Remember, what size do you want?
And would you like milk? Super useful.
Absolutely. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, right? What about when it's time to pay?
Ah, yes. The moment of truth. In our dialogue, remember, Alex said that's $3.
Right, so dollars. That's the currency they're using in this coffee shop.
Yeah, you'll hear dollars a lot in the U.S.
Totally. So when you hear a number and then dollars, okay, that's what I owe.
Exactly. Simple as that.
Now, when you hand over the money, you can just say, "Here you are," nice and easy.
Yep. And of course, don't forget to say thank you. Always be polite.
Oh, for sure. Thank you goes a long way. Okay, before we wrap up, let's do one final run through of those key phrases. Ready to practice with me one last time?
I'm ready.
Okay. I want a hot coffee.
I want a hot coffee. See, I've got this.
You sound like a pro. All right, next one. What size do you want?
What size do you want?
Perfect. Now, remember, you can answer with small size, please, or medium or large.
Right, whatever size you're feeling.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. Would you like milk?
Would you like milk?
And if you do want milk, you can say yes. With milk, please.
Yes, with milk, please. Nailed it.
You're amazing. Okay, last few. That's $3.
That's $3.
Here you are, thank you.
Here you are, thank you.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
See? Now you're all set to conquer that coffee shop.
I know, right? It wasn't that hard.
Not at all. And remember, like we've been saying, practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases, the easier it'll get.
And the more confident you'll feel.
Exactly. So next time you're at a coffee shop, don't be afraid to give it a try.
Oh, yeah. Challenge yourself. You might be surprised how much you already know.
Totally. And if you enjoy this deep dive, make sure you subscribe to the show. We're always exploring new ways to make learning English fun and accessible.
And don't forget to give us a like. We love hearing from you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today, and happy coffeeing.
Until next time.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be focusing on learning English. And you know how we always say practice makes perfect?
Right.
Well, that's especially true when you're just starting out with a new language. And today we're going to be using some super easy words and phrases.
Yeah, really breaking it down.
Yeah. So think of this as like your first step into the world of English conversation.
Exactly.
And to help us with this deep dive, we have an expert in teaching English to beginners.
Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here.
So you ready to break down some simple shopping phrases?
Absolutely. You know, it's amazing how a few basic phrases can really help you feel more comfortable when you're shopping, especially in a new place.
Okay, then, let's jump right in. Today's deep dive is titled At the Gift Shop, Mastering Simple Shopping Phrases.
Sounds fun.
To make it even more fun, we're going to act out a short dialogue. Just imagine we're in a gift shop, looking for that perfect present.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Me too. You'll be Ella and I'll be Alex. Ready? Ready? Okay, let's begin. Hi, Ella.
Hi, Alec.
This teddy bear is so cute.
How much is it?
It's $20.
That's too expensive.
Look at this small one. It's cheaper.
How much is the small one?
It's only $10. That was a fun little shopping trip.
It was.
And you know what's fascinating to me is how much we can learn from a short conversation like that.
Absolutely. It's packed with useful words and phrases that are perfect for beginners.
But before we go any further, I just want to highlight that the dialogue we just heard, that's our source material for this deep dive.
Yeah, we're going to break it down.
We're going to use it to explore some really important basic English words and phrases. So let's break down what we just heard.
Great idea.
First, let's look at some of the key words we heard. Expensive, cheap, and of course, teddy bear.
Those are all super common words. You'll hear them all the time, especially when you're out shopping.
Okay, so let's start with expensive. What does it mean?
Expensive means something costs a lot of money, like a big house is expensive or a fancy car.
Right. And what about cheap?
Cheap is the opposite. It means something doesn't cost a lot of money, like a candy bar is cheap or a pencil.
And a teddy bear. I think everyone knows what that is.
Of course, it's a soft, cuddly toy that's perfect for a gift, especially for children.
Now let's move on to some of the phrases we heard. They're like building blocks for making longer sentences. What really stood out to you from the dialogue?
Well, the first phrase that pops out is, how much is it? This is an essential question to know. When you're shopping, you want to know the price of something.
You can use that phrase for anything in a store,
Mm-hmm.
right? Clothes, food, anything at all.
Yeah, just point at what you're interested in and say, how much is it?
Easy. And I think that's too expensive is another really important one. I mean, we've all been, sometimes things just cost more than we're willing to pay.
Absolutely. It's a polite way to say that you think the price is too high.
And if you're trying to be helpful, like Alex was in the dialogue, you could say, look at this one. It's cheaper.
That's a great way to suggest a more affordable option.
Now, let's look a little closer at the phrase, how much is the small one? What's interesting about this phrase?
Well, here we're adding a little more detail to our question. We're not just asking how much is it, we're specifying which item we want to know the price of, the small one.
So we're being more specific.
Exactly. And being specific helps to avoid confusion, which is always a good thing when you're learning a new language.
Let's repeat those key phrases again, just to make sure they stick in our minds. How much is it?
How much is it?
That's too expensive.
That's too expensive.
Look at this one. It's cheaper.
Look at this one. It's cheaper.
Great repetition is key, especially when you're starting out. It helps those new words and phrases become more natural. But before we go any further, I have another question. In the dialogue, we heard Alex say, it's only $10. What do you think he meant by using the word only there?
That's a great observation. Using only in this way emphasizes that the price is low. It's like saying, this is a really good deal.
That makes sense. It adds a bit of excitement to the statement. It's only $10.
Exactly. It shows that Alex is happy about finding a good price.
Okay, let's take a quick pause here.
Hmm.
We've already covered so much. We've looked at key vocabulary like expensive, cheap, and teddy bear. And we've broken down some essential shopping phrases like, how much is it? And that's too expensive. But we're just getting started. We have so much more to explore in this deep dive.
It's amazing how much you can learn from even a short dialogue like this, and there's still so much more to unpack.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll continue to break down the shopping scenario and discover even more useful phrases and tips for mastering basic English conversation.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into practical English. We'll be covering a wide range of topics, all designed to help you build confidence and fluency. Welcome back to our deep dive. I'm excited to keep going with these useful English phrases.
Me too. Let's imagine ourselves back in that gift shop. We're surrounded by, colorful souvenirs and interesting toys. And maybe you see a beautiful scarf that would be perfect gift for a friend.
What a great idea. Remember that phrase we talked about earlier?
You mean, can I see that one?
Exactly. You can use that phrase to ask the shop assistant to show you something specific.
And you can be even more specific, right, by saying something like, can I see that blue scarf? Or can I see that scarf with the flowers on it?
Right. The more specific you are, the better the shop assistant will understand what you want.
And after you've seen the scarf and decided you like it, what's the next step?
Well, if you want to buy it, you can just say, I'll take it. It's a simple way to let the cashier know you're ready to purchase.
It's interesting how these phrases work, like a little recipe for a conversation.
That's a great way to put it. They're like the ingredients you need to create a successful shopping experience.
Now let's go back to our dialogue for a moment. I noticed that Alex and Ella used very simple language. Their sentences were short and easy to understand.
That's a really important point. When you're learning a new language, it's best to start with simple words and phrases.
So you don't need to worry about using, complex grammar right away.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to keep it simple. As you learn more, you can gradually add more complex words and structures.
It's like building a tower with blocks. You
Yeah.
start with a strong base, and then you add more blocks on top one by one.
I love that analogy. It perfectly illustrates the language learning process. You don't need to build the whole tower at once, just focus on laying a solid foundation first.
And remember, even native English speakers, we use simple language most of the time.
That's true. The most important thing is to communicate clearly and be understood.
So for all of our listeners who are just starting their English journey, keep it simple, keep it clear, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Absolutely, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Embrace them.
So far in this deep dive, we've explored key vocabulary like expensive and cheap.
Mhm.
We've learned how to ask, how much is it, and what to say if something is too expensive. We've even practiced asking to see an item and telling the cashier we're ready to buy. Are you ready for more?
Definitely, there's always more to learn when it comes to English.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore even more useful phrases and tips to help you master basic English conversations.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives like this one. We're here to support you every step of the way on your English learning journey.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into simple shopping phrases.
I'm so glad you're still with us.
We've covered so much ground already, but I feel like there's always more to learn when it comes to English. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Learning a language is a journey, not a destination.
I love that. So before we wrap up, what is one final piece of advice you would give to our listeners who are just starting out with English?
That's a great question. You know, I think the most important thing is to not be afraid to practice.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly. The more you use English, even
Yeah.
if it's just, a few simple phrases, the more confident you'll become.
I remember when I first started traveling to different countries, I was so nervous to speak the local language, but I realized that people were actually really happy when I tried.
That's so true. People really appreciate it when you make an effort to communicate in their language. Even if you make mistakes, they'll usually be understanding and helpful.
And sometimes those mistakes can even lead to some pretty funny stories.
Absolutely. I've had so many amusing experiences while learning new languages, all thanks to, you know, a few mispronounced words or grammatical errors.
It's all part of the fun. So
Yeah.
for all of our listeners out there who are feeling a little hesitant or nervous about speaking English, just remember to take a deep breath and go for it.
You can do it.
I have a little challenge for our listeners before we finish up.
Oh, I love challenges. Tell me more.
I challenge each of you to use at least one of the phrases we've learned today in a real-life situation.
What a fantastic idea. It could be at a store, a restaurant, or even just with a friend.
The point is to just put those new skills into practice. You might be surprised at how easy it is to start using these phrases naturally.
And if you do use one of the phrases, be sure to come back and tell us about it in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into At the Gift Shop, mastering simple shopping phrases. We started with a simple dialogue. We broke it down, word by word, and we explored some essential phrases for beginner English learners.
We hope you found this deep dive helpful and encouraging.
If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue your English learning journey with us, don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more deep dives like this one.
We'll be exploring a variety of topics, all designed to help you build confidence and fluency in English.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy learning. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into learning English using really simple conversations.
Exactly. And we're going to focus on super easy words and phrases, perfect for beginners.
Think of this as A fun and easy way to start practicing your English. Kind of like a little crash course in how to chat casually.
Absolutely.
Mm.
We're going to break down a simple dialogue step by step so you can start speaking English confidently.
To make things more fun, we're actually going to perform the dialogue for you first, like a little play.
I'm ready.
All right. So our dialogue is called Weekend Fun. It's about two people, Alex and Ella. They're chatting about what they like to do on the weekends, just casual chit chat, perfect for practicing your English.
And you'll be surprised how much you can learn from just a few lines of dialogue.
So are you ready to meet Alex and Ella?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Ella.
It's the weekend. What do you like to do on weekends?
I like to play soccer.
Really? That's cool. How often do you play?
I play every Saturday morning. What about you? What do you like to do?
I like to draw pictures.
Wow. Can you show me your drawings?
Sure, I have some in my phone.
So, that was a little sneak peek into Alex and Ella's weekend. It was short and sweet, right?
Absolutely. Now let's unpack it and see what we can learn.
All right, so the first thing that stood out to me was that question, what do you like to do? It's so simple, but such a good way to start a conversation about hobbies.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's like a magic key to unlock all sorts of interesting conversations.
And remember, Ella used it twice in the dialogue. First, she asked Alex about his activities, and then she used it to tell him about her own hobbies.
That's a great observation. It shows how versatile that question is. You can use it to ask about anything you enjoy doing.
Exactly. So everyone, remember this phrase, what do you like to do? It's your go-to for starting any conversation about hobbies. Try saying it a few times. What do you like to do? What do you like to do?
Another important phrase we heard was, how often do you? This is how you ask about how frequently someone does something.
All right, like how many times a week or a month they do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when Ella asked Alex, how often do you play? She wants to know how frequently he plays soccer.
And his answer, I play every Saturday morning,
Sure.
tells us he's pretty serious about it.
He definitely is. So let's practice this one too. How often do you can use this for any hobby, like reading, cooking, or watching movies.
Okay, we've talked about what do you like to do
Mhm.
and how often do you? What else was interesting?
What about when Alex says, can you show me your drawings? That's a great way to show that you're interested and to ask to see examples of their work.
Yes, it's polite, keeps the conversation going, and shows you're really engaged.
And it's perfect if you want to see something, something tangible, like photos or drawings, maybe even a cool dance move.
Yeah. So let's add, can you show me, to our list of must-know phrases. It's perfect for expressing enthusiasm and curiosity.
Absolutely. People love to share their passions, so don't be shy to ask.
We've covered a lot, haven't we? Let's take a quick break and go over some of the key words we just talked about. Ready for a vocab check?
Yep, let's do it.
First word, weekend. What does it mean?
Okay, so weekend is Saturday and Sunday. Those 2 days when most people don't have to work or go to school. It's like saying, I relax on the weekend.
All right, next word, play. What does it mean in this dialogue?
Play means to do an activity for fun, usually a sport or game, like when you say, I like to play soccer, or they play basketball.
And lastly, the word draw. What does it mean?
Draw means to make a picture using lines, usually with a pen or pencil, like she likes to draw portraits.
Great job. We've learned some really useful words and phrases today. Remember, even if you're just starting out, you can have simple conversations in English about your hobbies.
Absolutely. And the more you practice, the easier it gets.
Before we move on to part 2, we just wanted to quickly remind you, subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up helps us out a lot. We'll be back soon with even more tips and tricks for learning English through simple conversations. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into everyday English. We're picking up right where we left off, exploring simple conversations about hobbies.
Right. Last time we met Alex and Ella, and they were chatting about their weekends. Remember those key phrases like, what do you like to do?
And how often do you? And of course, can you show me?
Those are like your secret weapons for starting and keeping a conversation going about hobbies.
And the best part, they're so easy to use, even if you're just beginning to learn English.
So let's put those phrases into practice. Imagine you meet someone new and you want to learn about their hobbies.
What would you say?
I'd start with the magic question. What do you like to do? It's simple and friendly, a good way to get things going.
Exactly. And to make it sound even more natural, you can shorten like to just like segue. So it's like, what do you like doing?
Right, it just sounds more casual and comfortable, like how people really talk.
Okay, so let's say this person tells you they like to play basketball. How would you ask how often they play?
Easy. How often do you? Comes in handy here. I'd say, how often do you play basketball?
Perfect. And they might answer, I play twice a week. Or maybe I play every Saturday.
And if I wanted to see some pictures or hear about their last game, I could use our third phrase, can you show me?
Exactly. Like, can you show me some pics of you playing? Or can you tell me about your last game?
Wow, it's amazing how much you can say with just a few phrases.
It really is. And remember, these phrases work for any hobby. Let's say someone likes to cook. You can ask, how often do you cook? Or, can you show me some pictures of your food?
Okay, let's practice those key phrases one more time. Just make sure they stick. What do you like to do? How often do you? And can you show me?
Awesome. Now let's add some more words to our vocabulary so we can talk about different types of hobbies.
Yeah, because there are so many different things people are into, from sports to music to art.
Exactly. So let's start with some common ones. How about reading? What does that mean?
Reading just means to look at words and understand what they mean. Like reading a book or a magazine or even news online.
Perfect. And what about watching movies?
Watching movies means looking at films on a screen, right? Like at the cinema or at home or even on your phone.
You got it. And how about listening to music?
Listening to music is hearing songs and enjoying the sounds. You can do that on the radio or your phone, even at a concert.
Awesome. What about cooking?
Cooking means preparing food by heating and combining ingredients, like making yummy dishes in your kitchen.
Okay, great. Now, what about hobbies where you make things? Let's start with drawing.
We actually talked about drawing earlier. It's making a picture with lines, usually using a pencil or a pen.
And it's like saying, I like to draw portraits, or she draws landscapes in her free time.
What about painting? That's similar to drawing, isn't it?
It is similar, but painting usually means using colors and brushes to create a picture on a canvas or something.
So drawing is with lines, painting is with colors. Okay, I got it.
Right, now let's talk about hobbies where you collect things. What about collecting stamps?
Collecting stamps is gathering and keeping stamps just as a hobby. People who do that are called philatelists. Did you know that?
Philatelist, that's a great word.
And then there's collecting coins.
Yeah, which means gathering and keeping different coins, maybe from other countries or different time periods.
And both of those, collecting stamps and collecting coins, can actually teach you a lot about history and geography.
It's true. Okay, now for some hobbies that involve technology, how about playing video games?
Playing video games is interacting with a game on a computer or a console or a mobile device. super popular, especially with younger people.
Yeah, and it can be a good way to challenge yourself or learn new skills. And of course, you can play with the friends online.
What about programming? That
Uh,
sounds more technical.
Programming means writing instructions for a computer to follow to make software, websites, and apps. It's definitely challenging, but it can be a very rewarding hobby. Could even lead to a job.
Wow, we've talked about a lot of hobbies. Should we take another break and review those new vocabulary words?
Yeah, let's do another round.
Okay, first up, reading. What does it mean again?
Reading is looking at words and understanding what they mean, like, I enjoy reading before bed, or he spends hours reading articles online.
Great. Now, how about watching movies?
Watching movies means looking at films on a screen. It's like saying, we watched a movie at the cinema, or she likes watching documentaries.
Okay, and how about listening to music?
Listening to music means to hear songs and enjoy the sounds, like, I love listening to music when I work out, or he listens to podcasts on his way to work.
And cooking.
Cooking means preparing food. It's like saying she's an amazing cook, her food is delicious, or he enjoys cooking for his family.
Okay, now for the hobbies where you make things. Drawing and painting. What's the difference again?
Right, so drawing is creating a picture using lines, usually with a pen or pencil, and painting is creating a picture with colors and brushes. You could say something like, he's such a talented artist, he can both draw and paint beautifully.
And last but not least, let's review the collecting hobbies, collecting stamps, and collecting coins.
Okay, so collecting stamps is gathering and keeping stamps, and collecting coins is gathering and keeping different coins. Like, her grandfather has a huge stamp collection. It's amazing. Or he started collecting coins when he was just a kid.
That was a lot of vocabulary. But we did it. Don't be afraid to use these words in your conversations.
That's right. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into talking about hobbies in English.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From those must-know phrases to a whole bunch of vocab for different types of hobbies.
Yeah, we really have. But guess what? We've got one last challenge for you, just to help you, really solidify everything we've learned.
Are you ready to put your skills to the test?
I think so. Bring it on.
Okay, so think about your favorite hobby, the one you're most passionate about.
Got it. I'm picturing it right now.
Now, here's the challenge. Describe that hobby in English.
Mm-hmm.
Use those phrases and all the vocabulary we've been talking about in this deep dive.
Oh, I like this. It's like we're giving a little presentation about something we love.
Exactly. Imagine you're talking to a new friend and you want to tell them all about this awesome hobby you have. What would you say?
Let's see. I think I'd start by saying something like, I love to, or my favorite hobby is.
Perfect. Those are great ways to introduce it. Then you can use phrases like I like to or I enjoy to talk about the specific activities you do.
And I can use how often do you to explain how frequently I do it, like if it's every day or once a week or whatever.
You got it. And don't forget, can you show me? Maybe you have some photos or videos that would really bring your hobby to life for them.
Yeah, I love that. It's like taking all the pieces of a puzzle and putting them together to make a complete picture.
Exactly. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about having fun and expressing yourself in English.
I think our listeners are ready for this challenge. So to everyone listening, think about your favorite hobby and try describing it in English. Use everything you've learned from our deep dive.
And remember, Practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases and words, the more natural and confident you'll become.
Well, that brings us to the end of our journey into the world of hobbies in English. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive.
And don't forget, subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up helps us make more fun and helpful content like this.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep practicing and keep exploring the amazing world of English. Hey everyone, and welcome to the deep dive. We're all about making learning English fun and easy, and today we're diving into something we all do every day.
Talking about the weather.
Exactly. Whether you're a beginner or you've been learning for a while, today's deep dive is going to give you some really useful phrases.
And I'm here to help break it all down in a way that's super clear and simple.
So get ready to chat about sunshine, rain, clouds, and everything in between.
It's gonna be a good one.
Okay, so to make this as real as possible, we've got a short dialogue between two people, Alex and Ella, and they're going to show us just how easy it is to talk about the weather.
Yeah, and remember, we're focusing on super simple words, perfect for those just starting out with English.
Let's talk about the weather.
Look at the sky. It's so cloudy today.
Yes, I think it will rain soon.
Do you have an umbrella?
No, I don't. I forgot it at home.
You can share my umbrella.
Thank you. You are so kind.
You're welcome.
See, that was easy, right?
Totally. Now let's break down this dialogue and look at some of the key words and phrases that'll help you talk about the weather like a pro.
Sounds good. First up, let's focus on a few important words.
All right. The first word is cloudy.
Cloudy means the sky is full of clouds. You know those days when it looks gray and the sun is hiding? Yeah, that's a cloudy day.
Next, we have umbrella.
Ah, yes, the trusty umbrella. That's what you use to stay dry when it's raining. It's like a portable roof.
Exactly. And last but not least, we have the word share.
Share means to use something together with someone else, just like Ella shared her umbrella with Alex.
Perfect. Now let's go back to the dialogue and take a closer look at some key phrases.
Okay, what jumps out at you?
But how about look at the sky?
That's a fantastic way to start a conversation about the weather. You're basically inviting the other person to notice what's going on up above.
It's so simple. Look at the sky. Easy peasy.
Exactly. Now, what about this one? I think it will rain soon.
That's a great example of making a prediction about the future. Alex is saying he believes it's going to rain soon.
And you can use this structure, I think it will, to talk about all sorts of things.
Like, I think it will be sunny tomorrow, or I think I will eat ice cream later. It's a super useful phrase.
Absolutely. All right, moving on, we have, do you have an umbrella?
Now, this is a really practical question, especially if you think it might rain. You know, just being prepared.
And remember, you can use do you have to ask about other things too.
Like, do you have a pen, or do you have the time? It's a very versatile phrase.
So let's practice that one again together. Do you have an umbrella?
Good. Now, what about I forgot it at home?
Oh, that's a classic. We've all been there, right?
Figure.
Forgetting something important.
Happens to the best of us. And you can use this phrase for anything you accidentally left behind.
Like I forgot my keys at home, or I forgot my phone at home.
It's a lifesaver when you need to explain a little slip up.
Totally. And finally, we have, you can share my umbrella.
This is a great example of being helpful and kind. Offering to share your umbrella with someone who doesn't have one.
And remember, sharing is caring. So let's practice that phrase one more time. You can share my umbrella.
Great. Now I think it's time to go back and quickly review those key words.
You got it.
Yeah.
So first up, we have cloudy.
Which means the sky is full of clouds. It's a cloudy day.
And then we have umbrella.
That's right. It keeps you dry when it rains.
And finally, we have share.
Which means to use something together.
Okay, so we've learned some essential words and phrases for talking about the weather in English.
You're well on your way to having confident conversations about the weather in English.
You got this. Now get ready, because in part 2, we're going to dive even deeper and explore some fun and interesting aspects of talking about the weather.
It's going to be a blast.
So stay tuned. All right, so we're back and ready to uncover some more fun ways to talk about the weather in English.
You bet. Let's jump right in.
Okay, so in part 1, we talked about some basic words like cloudy, umbrella, and share.
Right. And we practiced some handy phrases like look at the sky and do you have an umbrella?
Exactly. Now let's take it a step further and explore how to use these phrases in different situations.
Sounds good.
Now imagine you're walking down the street and you see someone you know.
Okay. I can picture it.
It's a beautiful sunny day, and you want to strike up a conversation. What could you say?
You could say something like, wow, it's a gorgeous day, isn't it?
Perfect. That's a great way to start a friendly chat. And the other person might respond with, yeah, perfect weather for a walk.
Exactly. It's all about making a connection and using the weather as a common ground.
Now, let's say it starts to rain suddenly,
Oh, no.
and you see someone struggling without an umbrella. This is your chance to be a good Samaritan.
I like where this is going.
You could approach them and say, hey, it's pouring out here. Do you need to share my umbrella?
That's so thoughtful. And they might say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're a lifesaver.
Exactly. You've not only practiced your English, but you've also made someone's day.
What a win-win.
Now, let's imagine a slightly different scenario. You're at work, and you notice a colleague looking a bit down. You want to show them some support and maybe brighten their mood. You can say, hey, I noticed you seem a bit under the weather today. Is everything all right?
Now, that's a really interesting phrase, under the weather. It doesn't literally mean someone's standing in the rain.
Right. It's an idiom, which means someone's not feeling well. It's a more casual and friendly way to ask if they're okay.
And they might respond with, oh, thanks for noticing. I'm just feeling a little tired today.
Exactly. You've shown you care, and you've used an idiom like a native English speaker.
I'm impressed.
Now let's move on to another fun aspect of talking about the weather: proverbs.
Proverbs. Tell me more.
Proverbs are traditional sayings that offer advice or wisdom based on common observations.
Oh, like every cloud has a silver lining.
That's a perfect example. This proverb means that even in difficult situations, there's always something positive to be found.
I love that one.
And another weather proverb is, April showers bring May flowers.
Ah, this one reminds us that even though rain can be a bit gloomy, it often leads to beautiful things.
It's exactly. Proverbs are a great way to add depth and cultural richness to your English conversations.
I'm definitely going to try using some of these.
I think you'd be surprised how much people appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now let's do a quick recap of what we've covered so far.
All right, we talked about using weather phrases in different scenarios, like greeting a friend, offering help, and showing concern for a colleague.
And we explored the world of idioms and proverbs, discovering how they can add color and meaning to our conversations.
That's right. We've learned so much.
And remember, the key to mastering any language is practice. So don't be afraid to use these new phrases and proverbs in your daily life.
You got this.
Now get ready for part 3, where we'll wrap up this deep dive with some final tips and encouragements to keep you motivated on your English learning journey.
I can't wait.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into talking about the weather.
We've covered so much already.
I know, right? We've learned about basic words like cloudy and umbrella.
And we even explored some idioms like under the weather.
Plus, We discovered the wisdom of weather proverbs like, every cloud has a silver lining.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. So to wrap things up, let's talk about why learning to talk about the weather is so important for English learners.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, first of all, it's a universal topic.
Ruh.
Everyone experiences weather no matter where they live.
That's true.
So it's a great way to connect with people from all over the world.
Like a built-in conversation starter.
Exactly. And it's also a fantastic opportunity to practice your everyday English skills.
You know, using simple phrases and vocabulary in real-life situations.
Right, because let's be honest, you're probably going to talk about the weather more often than you discuss advanced scientific theories or complex political issues.
Uh-huh. That's a good point.
So embracing weather talk is a practical way to improve your fluency and confidence.
I totally agree. And here's another thing. Talking about the weather can actually help you learn about different cultures.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Well, different cultures have different ways of expressing their relationship with the weather.
You mean like different sayings or beliefs about the weather?
Exactly. For example, in some cultures, people believe certain weather events are signs of good or bad luck.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
It is. And by learning about these cultural perspectives, you can gain a deeper understanding of the world around you.
So talking about the weather isn't just about practical communication. It's also about cultural exploration.
Exactly. It's a window into how people think and feel.
I love that. Now, before we say goodbye, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Learning a language is like learning to dance.
I've never thought about it that way.
It takes time, practice, and a willingness to make mistakes.
And just like dancing, it gets easier and more enjoyable with practice.
Exactly. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep having fun with English.
Well said.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into talking about the weather in English.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you learned some useful tips and phrases to help you confidently chat about sunshine, rain clouds, and everything in between.
Remember, keep practicing, and you'll be amazed by how much progress you can make.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of English.
Until next time, happy learning.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.